A very good morning, everyone. It's Bob, the RCSubGuy, here with Logan. It's Monday. New week here at the dry docks. It is going to be busy. We got lots we want to do. It's only like 8:30 in the morning here. Well, 8:44, you can see back there. Got a lot done already. First off, Logan's packing up. This is the first commercial print of our new Virginia split hull, horizontal split hull, going to a customer. I'll have that listed, I think, later on today or tomorrow. Everybody can do. We got some other orders packed up over there. We're waiting for Jason to show up because we got to go get the big box for the big Baleo. Nautilus coming along really good. We're going to get all the detail pieces installed on that maybe tomorrow. But big thing with this, got the new LiPo batteries installed, charge and balance ports extended and run to the waterproof cap here. Everything has been tested and is fully functional, and I can prove it. Power on. Power on. And the cool thing about this switch, if you guys remember the Gato that we had, you've got a little poker sticky thing. You just go in through the flood slot and go. It's like a remote on-off switch, just more like low techy kind of thing. So let's check all the functionalities. We got bow planes. We got our retracts. I showed you guys this earlier. So cool. We got our rudderage, our stern planeage. We've got our throttle. Nice and smooth. Look at that. Just look at that. So nice. And then we got our emergency blow with a super upgraded pump, which you go like this, and then vent. So you only need like 2 or 3 seconds on this. My challenge, and maybe we'll leave this to the new owner, you don't want this to overinflate because it'll push up against the bottom of the sail and just stretch the hull out. Or if you leave it on like a dum-dum, it'll pop the bag eventually, I'm sure, or something like that. It's there. I don't think it'll ever need to be used, but so be it. It's all set, ready to go. We're set. Oh wait, I gotta check the ballast. Oh, in the neutral position, the vent is open. I got to make some adjustability things for this right now. But then it'll be ready to go, and we can throw it in the water. Out at the top secret test facility. God, what a gorgeous morning. The weather has been just beautiful here lately. Gonna throw that in the water. Man, what a cool looking boat this is. And if it hasn't already sold, I'm just going to tell you, I was going to blow this out with its brother or sister, the Gato, which is similar sized. One boat, the Gato, was listed at $29.90. You can have both boats for $3,200. That's what I decided. Or you can just take the one if you don't want this one. That's fine. I'll keep it. It's very cool. All right. Let's put this thing in the water. Okay, surface trim. Definitely higher. I'm not so much worried about surface trim because the more we got sitting above, the cooler it's going to look. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And he's even highlighted with a little black marker which flood slot to put it into. Oh, this is going to be moving too tricky with one hand. Hee-yah, hee-yah. All right. There we go. Yeah, we got rudderage. Okay, well, there shouldn't be any danger of sinking, so move the left stick to the right. Is it going down? Is it going down? Yep, it's going down. Going down. That can't be it. What the heck? Is it? I don't know. Maybe it is. I didn't take that much weight out of it. Oh, here we go. Still going, still going. So it's perfectly level, which is super weird. because the battery compartment was in the front. But whatever, it is what it is. We'll do a little shaky, add a little weighty. Let's see what we can make happen. All right, this is where we have ended up. And I know it looks ever so slightly nose heavy, but it's just because we got the weights on the top, it's really unstable. If we just tap the bottom, it'll sink. So this is where we're gonna put things. That is probably gonna need to go on top of the watertight box, unfortunately, but all the rest of that weight is gonna go down low in the forward and aft part of the boat behind the watertight compartments, in theory. So we're gonna pull this out, crack open the hull, jam the weights in, and then see what we can do. I think we got it dialed in. Added some weights and all that. When we're done, we got to let it dry, and then we'll glue them all in so they don't move anywhere. But it's going to be good enough for getting in there. Oh, it turns so nice and sharp. Look at that. It's almost a full boat. That's like, that is awesome. Wow. Jason's here with his truck.
Hi-yo.
Yay.
No pink.
And we got Logan is shuffling the vehicles, but the reason, because of that crate. It's just ever so slightly big and ever so slightly heavy, but that is what our giant 10-foot long Baleo is going to go into. So now we got to go grab that from upstairs. Yay! All I can say is I'm glad it's not summertime when it's 110 degrees outside. So I'm sweating even at 80. All right, this is what we got going on. She's in there, secured down, bulkheads, padding. The only thing we got to do is secure it front and back, put some expanding foam packs into there, really isolate it, and then open air is our friend. The only thing is, I guess, if they dump it on its side, you know, the shock could damage the conning tower. All right, Tuesday morning. We just lost Logan. He ran in the house for a second. But Jason's here. We're gonna be doing some cool stuff with the big Nautilus. But before that, I want to share with you super cool project I'm looking forward to. Some of you guys will recognize it. No, not a World War II submarine, not a World War I submarine, but Ulysses from Disney's Atlantis. 4 feet long and I think 20 inches wide at the tail, which is the widest part of the boat. I found these files for free, so don't ask me for the files. They're not my files. I got them off of, I think, Thingiverse. And you can download them. Now it's just a shell. They're not RC optimized. It took me hours and hours and hours of work to fix all of these, so it's actually an RC submarine. So I modified everything so these actually work. All of the rudders and everything are going to swivel, and they'll be linked together. All the dive planes are going to be swiveling and linking together. The details just super cool on this. Whoever did those files did a great job. Linkages are going to get hid underneath. We got proppages. Let me grab me a proppage. These are printed in high strength nylon, and they're the correct scale. Now they're not super huge, but they weren't in the movie either. But I've got plans to hook them up to a pair of 750 kilovolt brushless motors that are going to be spinning off of a Life PO Motor, I think those are about 12.8 volts. Nominal, probably 13.2 fully charged, 14 maybe. So these are going to be spinning at, I think we said, a little over 9,000 RPM at full tilt. So should move some water. All of these were designed to swivel, all the turrets, and the guns will elevate. I've got all of the domes rendered in 3D so that they will be clear when I print them on my clear, and they'll all be backlit with orange LEDs, and this salon area, I assume, will be backlit. And then I drafted the little spotlights in there to accept 5mm LEDs. This is going to be lit everywhere with lights. It's going to be super cool. Hull split is just right here and here, so it is a Z cut for this boat, and it all lifts up, and I've got integrated lips and all that stuff. But one of the coolest parts, if you could lift up the hull, I gotta slip this out from underneath, is did the full interior. This is all loose and I haven't done it, but full interior is all set with the ultra clear acrylic dome, and that's the platform that goes.
So where does it?
That's the ship's wheel.
Right up on top of here? Or?
No, it goes in the middle, that big open spot.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that is going to look pretty darn badass when it's all done. My idea is to make this completely sealed so that water doesn't get in and spot the acrylic, and then it'll provide some buoyancy to offset a tremendously thick bulkhead that I ended up with in here because of a boo-boo I made in design, which is all below the surfaced water line. So
just tells you the scale. If each one of these is a layer, how tiny, itty bitty these people would be.
Yeah, this is, I think, 1/220th scale, 4 feet long. So we're talking basically 2 times the length of the largest submarine ever built by man. You know, a Typhoon submarine at 540 feet. This is like 1,000 feet long, like Sequest length.
So just a little itty bitty boat.
Yeah, just a little itty bitty boat.
Nothing too substantive.
Like the people are this tall, literally that tall, like 1/4 of an inch tall. So we really just wanted to get this together. It was just like big main sections. I got this all commercially printed overseas in high strength, high definition resin, and just glued it together. You can see it's all rough. We did a first smear of body filler on there. But the final work on it's going to have to wait until we get a little further along in our projects. But I don't think this will be much. It's 2 servos, rudders and dive planes, 2 speed controls. All that's going to be in the wet. It'll be a dry hull, or sorry, a box style watertight compartment system with my S3 boxes, and then just a simple big high flow ballast system. And I think it's just going to get up to about here. I'm sure in the movie it probably floated like down here, but that's not going to happen. Now I'm going to hand this off to Jason so I can show you guys how the hull goes together. Like I said, it has lips, so basically this whole thing just lifts off. If I can get this, there we go. Oh, come off. Oh, there we go. This is not light. This is not like a 1/16 of an inch, you know, fiberglass layup. This is pretty thick. It's like at least 1/8 or 3/16 thick. I did it for strength. And I got these for spacing to make sure they don't warp or anything. And this just drops on. These lips fit in the lower hull, and we just got to rig up a little flange with a bolt, and that's going to be it.
So just supports just to keep the
spacing, yeah.
Spacing, and then these are just for
support for the back here, yeah. Because there's a lot of weight on this tail.
Oh yeah, because it's up high.
And I haven't decided, but you know, I've got this support in the back up here somewhere, so I might do either a small waterproof box with 2 servos or just 2 waterproof servos. Make it super easy. Motors will be here, speed controllers here, and that's it.
Look at these dive planes back here on the rudders. This is cool.
It's got a lot of control surface.
Wow.
And it is behind the prop, a long way behind the prop, but behind the prop. So I'm not sure how this is going to respond. You know, we're just going to need to to give it a shot and see.
Pretty substantial dive planes we got going on here. A couple little guys here.
And they'll all be linked, so it'll be one gigantic dive plane, basically. So, I'm super excited about this, especially that control room. I think Logan's going to love putting that together, all the painting. Need to find some little quarter scale, or, you know, quarter-inch tall dudes to put in there. And anyhow, this is probably the last you're going to see of this for a little while until we make some progress on customer builds. But we're doing okay. We got a bunch that are going to be finishing up here pretty quick. So, stay tuned. It's exciting stuff. Next project. Logan is working on swapping out a servo in the Type 7. That became non-functionality-ish. And once that's done, we'll put it all back together again, do a pressure test, and then it should be A-OK. We'll do a walkthrough video. This is our next thing. So this is that Type 7, that really cool Type 7 with the extended winter garden. Customer bought it, and now we need to do some cutty choppy.
Reconstructiveness.
Some aggressive, intentional disassembly. So, I think what we're going to do, there's going to be a vertical cut. Probably right here. Like that. Chop the whole nose off. And then, I think we would be able to put a 2.5 cylinder right underneath all of this, and we just need to knock out the back bulkhead. Just. That's it. Just.
That's it?
Just do that. Should be pretty easy.
Just.
All right, this is what we ended up doing in here. We hogged out the whole thing in here. We're gonna have to blow that out. That's awful ugly looking. Slice the hull. And rather than just handing it to him, which technically is all we need to do, we'll clean this up a little bit, and then I'm printing right now in ABS a bayonet. We'll glue, and it'll be able to put the front on. And we tested the a 250 watertight cylinder. Fits right in there. So, should make his life a lot easier. There'll be a little bit of cosmetic work that he's going to need to do to clean up the seam and, you know, whatever, make it all nice and beautiful, but it's a great place to start. 90% of the work done. Now, not a lot to lie. Let's make this thing look less
Atrocious.
well, yeah. All right, update with this thing. I'm not super excited about this Sanders hull, people. This hull is supposed to be a decagon with, what was that, 36 degrees between each plane. This part comes directly off of that part, which is perfectly drafted. But you can see it's tight at the top, loose on the bottom. So this is probably like 30, 30, 40, which is messing up this whole interface thing in here. So we need a couple options. We can notch the upper hull, push this in like that, but then the outer face isn't going to be vertical. It'll be cocked in a little bit. I got to think about this, but right now, Logan finally finished buttoning up all of our bolts and everything. So we're going to go out to
Top secret test facility.
All right, out at the top secret test facility, and we're just doing a last check, and this really is the primary area of concern. If you pull this up, you can see those bubbles are coming from around the perimeter of the adhesive that's used to seal a wire that's going in there. So super easy fix. We'll just pull all that goopy goop off and put some fresh goopy goop. It's such a cool boat. It's got such personality. I don't know. I'm kind of like it. We have a strategization going on. We're going to be putting a backer plate in here. Jason's cleaning some of this rather strange putty stuff off, and we're going to put a backer plate in here on both sides, and we're going to sand this so that we can get some Bondo sticky fusion situation going on. And this is how this is gonna go. This actually works pretty good. We're gonna fill, obviously, all the gaps and everything. But when we drop the upper hull on, it only needs to get spread like 1/8 of an inch. And then we drop the hull, it goes and lays right nice flat against it. Then we just got to build some filler thingies in here, which you're looking for work, aren't you? You're looking for lunch too.
Yeah.
Okay. Lunch and then filler. Jason's gone. Logan's working on school stuff. Gosh, where's his priorities? Got a little work done, type 7. So this is our new hull joint, and this is just rough. It hasn't been cleaned up or touched up or anything like that, but this is the bayonet. So these parts, by the way, were drafted by CC Clark on the forums, who is apparently a very good drafter person. This is so hard to do with one hand. So you give it a little wiggle, and it comes off. There you go. This is printed in ABS plastic, so it should be super ultra awesomely durable. And just goes on, gives a little twist, and you're done. That's it. This is going to be so easy to get into the boat. You just pop the top off, twisty, and you got it. So just finishing up with this thing here. Did a little bit of paint just to get things looking a little better. Touched up the seam. That's looking really good. I put a spacer in here to get this perfectly aligned. It's a little ghetto, but I mean, it's a bit of a ghetto boat. So let's throw the top on here and see how she looks when she's all together. There we go. Much better. Looking slick. Seam is virtually unnoticeable, especially from a little distance away. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. We're going to package this thing up for Andrew tomorrow and get it on the way for him. And the last thing we did here today, put on some backer plates to the upper hull. This is polycarbonate sheet, just because I happen to have it. And we are going to use that as a backstop for the filler that we're going to be putting in to get this perfectly blended and contoured to the hull. But we're going to let this kick off tonight. Maybe we'll just leave it like that. It's like a real window. Yeah. Well, it's looking pretty good. Obviously needs a little filler and stuff, but it's going to turn out pretty dang awesome. I think Stacy's going to be happy. And we threw a little bonus gift on there, the new prop. The old one was okay. It was the right shape, but all the blades were bent the wrong way, so it only really had juice going backwards, which is good if you want to go backwards everywhere. We're at the doings and the happenings going on. So these side blisters have been completely adhered, glued, screwed, tattooed, sanded, primed. First layer. Still need some work. But they're looking pretty good. I mean, especially this other side, the starboard side. I like how the support frame around the outside turned out. Looks pretty cool. But we ran out of hardener for our body filler, so I got more on order. I'd have to wait till tomorrow or whenever it's going to show up to continue with this, because then we're going to do the hard part of flipping it over, putting the top body on, and completely and perfectly mating the lower hull to the upper hull without it being overly visible. And my Nautilus is coming along really good. This is going to go for primer here in about 38.5 seconds. And Logan is just finishing up for the very, very, very last time putting together the Type 7. So I'm going to get that listing done up today. Both of those boats, the 7 and the Gato, for a super awesome price. It's listed on the site. Hopefully you guys caught it before it got sold. All right, I'm going to move him, put him out, and psst, psst, psst. Successes! This looks like garbage because I got tape all over there. The tape created barrier between the resin parts and the new body filler parts. So now I can just peel all this off, and it's kind of nice and cleanish, except for where I goobered it up right there. Oh, there you go. Never happened. But what I did is I filled that gap in between with the body filler and ended up with this. So now I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit, do a little sandy, and then we're gonna end up with a razor seam between upper hull and the lower hull. So the work that I did is gonna be awesome. The gap between where the old and old is not so awesome, but that's all something that the new owner can address in his free time. I keep getting confused because I got two video cameras going, one for Nautilus project and this one for you guys, and I can't remember if I made video or not, so I just gotta stop and try. Nautilus is painted. Working on, well, I will be working on floodlights, but what a cool boat this is. All the little hatches work, all the little slidey things work. There we go. I guess I better paint the white part in there. Anyhow, looking awesome. And now I am back to that. So, getting ready to wrap up here today. I'm gonna say I'm done with the Nautilus. Let's take a closer look. So it's still got wet paint on it. I just wanted to kind of paint it up and see what it was going to look like. This is the new wheelhouse, which looks epically awesome. And then this is the seam I got going on all the way around. So this separates along the top. The top comes off, and then this remains as part of the bottom area. So Stacy gets to do the rest of the work. I'm done with it. We got a crate coming. We're going to crate it up, ship it out, and get this thing out of here. All right, it's Friday today, and I got a few things we're finishing up. Logan's doing last of the figures, and then we're going to be installing those in the display model. And I'll be working on floodlights for that, and maybe get a coat of paint on the display stand. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Got to finish up this. Talked to the owner last night via text, and he is freaking out that we had to sand the rivets off because he thought it was a massive job to replace. I don't think you've done rivets yet.
No, not yet.
I did just a few for my first Disney Nautilus scratch build. A couple of different ways of going about it. You can drill little holes and put little escutcheon pins, little brass pins in there to make perfect little rivets. That is highly labor intensive. Something else you can do is cheat a little bit. Weapon of choice, JB Weld. Hopefully this is still good. It's been in my cabinet for about 25 years. We're going to mix it up a batch here. Then we're going to go over that way and goop it on the model. All right, here's the close-up of the model and all the terribly damaged, mangled part of the hull. What I'm going to use here is just a little pointy stick thing. I'm going to get a nice little goober on the end, just like that. And I'll go over where the rivets were before. And the objective, oh, that was, let's try that one again. That's the beauty of these. You kind of put it down, give it a little wiggle, and then it'll have a little tail, and you just let the little tail settle down, and then bloop, it's done. And then you go on to the next one, little wiggle to make a circular base, little tail, and it's done. This is old JB, and so it's a little thicker than fresh JB, so it's a little more difficult to work with. If you get a nice fresh batch, it's not a problem in the slightest. Let go, there you go. And what'll happen is these little blobs will settle down and turn into perfect little domes. And you know, if you get a little bit around the outside, you can just like wiggle it a little bit, and it all goes back. This would be easy stuff. So I was going back in my memory here, and I seem to remember if you add a drop of lacquer thinner to the JB, it kind of loosens it up a little bit. So I added, oh yeah, that's 1,000,000% better. Now, again, you may not need to do this if you actually have fresh JB. But if you don't, and you're too lazy to go out and get some, then lacquer thinner is apparently your friend. And I'm guessing, in theory, if you're, this doesn't need to be a Nautilus model that you do this trick with. You could use it on, you know, a U-boat or like a Hunley or something with rivets. It is the universal rivet solution. Little departure here. For those of you who are making the investment in the new 900 megahertz radio systems, the X14 Twin is a really cost-effective solution. I just want to take 2 seconds. I'm going to show you how easy it is to set the radio up in terms of binding and setting the power. That's all we're going to be doing here right now. If you're a member of the Dive Tribe, we ran through all of the programming in detail. This is super cheap. It's $10 a year, people, for basic, and then like $50 for a year for the advanced stuff. So, all right, this is what we're working with here. All I've done is plugged it in, so this is fresh out of the box. So I've installed the R9M Pro on the back. I'm gonna go in, you know, let me hang this thing up. All right, let's try this again. So we got our receiver with our R9M Pro, and this is an R9 SX 6-channel receiver, 900 megahertz. So we need to do some setup here. What I'm going to go ahead and do first off, I just want to edit this. You can change the name of your model right there. I'm going to get rid of this image that's there, and I'm going to switch it from airplane to other because we're not flying airplanes. Done. Now we're going to go into the RF system. So what we want to do is turn off the internal module. Bloop, off. And we're going to go down to external module. Boop. And we're going to turn it on. Boop. And this is the R9M Lite Pro Access. Cool. All right, so that is all set now. Access. We're going to go to register, hit register.
Register.
And now we're going to press and hold this register button on the top of the receiver and then plug power in.
Register.
There's our R9SX. We'll register, hit enter, registration, okay. Now we're going to go down to bind. Here's our receiver number 1. We're going to bind it. I'm going to unplug the receiver, hit bind, and you just plug power into the receiver. There's our R9SX, enter, bind, OK. That's it. We're done. Then under options, we're going to hit set, and then here's our power menu. We're going to click on that and go down to, let's say, 500 milliwatts. 100 would probably be lots. 500 would be plenty. I'm gonna make 100. So there you go. It's under the set from the options menu to set your power. Now, with all that done, you can get into the mixer. New free mix. You're gonna name it here. So let's just call this one FR. Let's just call it F. But like this would be where you would name it like rudder or dive planes or whatever you want, right? Always on, the source, pick what you want. Oh, if I want this stick, if I want this stick, you can see it's changing here, right? Your throttle, you can make it whatever you want. Let's make it this one. And we're going to go down here to, this is, by the way, where you would set your endpoints. Always a good idea when you start out, set it at like 50%. And then that way you're not going to overdrive your servos. You're going to go down here to the output, and you're going to pick what pin on the receiver you want it to go out of. I'm going to say 1, and it's going to copy the name. And now channel 1 is called F. Or it would be rudder, dive planes, whatever you want. And you just go through, and you do that for all of the channels that you want to set. There's your list. You can back out. You can go into outputs for under the model menu, and you can see that there's our F channel. Boop, boop, boop. And it's capped at the 48% that I had it in. That's it. Super, super simple. Well, boys and girls, we are wrapping it up here at the dry docks for this week. Logan's pulling all our stuff in from outside. The Nautilus is coming along super awesome. They got the stand painted there. The plaque is painted. Logan's got all the figures painted over here. So those are going to get installed Monday. And we're just waiting on some new floodlights for this thing. And I'm going to be working on the sound system a little bit later today, and hopefully get some of that done. But we're going to be away this weekend, so I won't get much done there. The other thing I got on here is the Gato. Back on the bench. What I'm going to be working on the first part of next week is the bow retracts. And once that's done, this is getting close. We got most of the functionalities worked out already. So it's going to be a good week next week. What else do we have? Oh, you probably start on that Titan next week.
Oh yeah, that's going to be interesting. I know we've got most of the water pumps for that, so that'll be fun to try and create.
Yeah, we got to pull all the guts together and get a cylinder put together. That would be the first step. At any rate, it's going to be cool. Thanks, as always, for joining us. Drop your comments below, like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Send me messages. I'll get back to you if you comment, but email is always faster, bob@nautilusdrydocks.com. And with that, we're going to leave you. Have a great rest of your day. On behalf of myself, Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy, and
Logan.
have a great rest of your day.